So in holographic breathing, we're doing the breathing and there's the movement of the breath through the body. Also there's the different energies of the different areas. But then also you have to take into account the viewer and where you're viewing from, because to perceive those movements and to perceive those energies, there's got to be someone there to view them. And you know, spiritually there is this question kind of, who am I? But if you're being aware of where you're viewing from, it brings up the spiritual skill of where am I? Because where you're viewing from is that place, your spirit. So there's the energies, there's the movement, and you've got to bring in yourself, and you're not your body, you're not your emotions, you're not your mind. As a being, you are viewing those things. And why this comes about in this particular place is because we're viewing, in this particular seminar, webinar, we're viewing the bones of the face and we're viewing the bones of the cranium. And for myself, I would be aware of the bones on my right hand side much more than my left hand side. And if I went to my left hand side, then I was aware of that and not so much the right hand side. And I was viewing them from the outside. So if you look at, and that is just for me, everybody might have their own particular experience. So to be viewing the right hand side, I was kind of sitting somewhere around here to view it. Now there's being there, your being can go into the anatomy and inhabit it and feel it, but there's also viewing it. So to actually view the whole jaw, or to view the maxillary sinuses or the zygomatic arch on both sides, you can't really view from the outside. You have to view from behind. So you're actually viewing from inside. You're actually viewing from inside, from the back of the head or behind the back of the head, and you have to take a central line. So in the last webinar on this, because Franklin had said that as a general guide of rule, that craniosacral therapists viewed from the straight sinus, which is in the back of the cranium, which is okay, but then your spirit is very much inhabiting the entire internal part of your body, and from there you can feel the movements of the bones and the energy is quite good, but you are very connected to the body. Whereas if you view slightly back from there, so if you're just situated slightly behind your body, then you're still connected to your body, but you're more connected to your spirituality, to your aura, to the higher energies. And I'm not going to give a place where I'm going to advise you to hang out and view from. I'm going to let you experiment with that. But this does bring in a whole new sphere of engagement, because you're not just being aware of your anatomy and your energies. As soon as you start becoming aware of where you are viewing from, you can't help but to start becoming aware of the viewer. So this brings in a spiritual dynamic, because it is connected to spirit. It is, or for me, I haven't read books, or I'm totally dyslexic. I don't read books, and I'm not really sure what is the spirit, what is the soul, and what are all these different things. But to me, that place that we view from, in that sense, or how it occurs to me, or how it feels to me, is that part of us that stays alive when our body dies and moves on to wherever it goes to. So the question, who am I, is starts off as a more intellectual, or trying to perceive who you are. In this, just by being aware of where you're viewing from, in an experiential level, you start becoming aware of your being. And then once you're doing that, this becomes a very being-based healing system. Whereas you might be doing that if you're doing healing with somebody. You may be sitting in a place that allows the spiritual energies to come through. In holographic breathing, you can use that to heal yourself. You can sit in a particular way that allows that energy to come through. And for instance, for myself, I am much more aware of my right hand side. And I don't know if it's just that I'm right-handed, that I'm more aware of the right hand of my body, or whether the trauma in the left hand side has taken me out of that side. But if I view more from the right hand side, it's engaging the right hand side of my body. But if I bring my spirit more into the left hand side of my body, or also behind and to the left, the spirit starts engaging with the left hand side, and that automatically starts to heal and come back to life. So a lot of healing, you don't actually have to work things out. You can just let your spirit start inhabiting and viewing that area of you. So it might be completely different things for different people. And I wasn't going to speak of this today, but it is just coming up so strongly that is the energy there to be talked about. So and per coincidence, we've got a group full of practitioners, so it is something that I can talk about. And also I notice, for feeling the rhythm of the breath through the body, it's fantastic for sitting just inside the occiput to feel the movement of the bones and the energies of the bones. But to be as soon as I started being aware of the field, and again, I don't know how other people experience that, but if I'm doing a healing session, it's like the whole room, and energy in the room becomes involved, and energies can come down into that and leave that. So the energies aren't per se having to come directly through me, they can come down into the whole space. And if I become aware of that, I am no longer sat inside my body. I am just dropped, I'm still engaged with my body, I'm still connected to my body, but I am just automatically, when I become aware of the field, I become center line and just slightly back from my head. And still, you know, obviously the spirit is connected to all the functions of the body and sees through the eyes and hears through the ears and smells through the nose and connected to all the functions by whatever matrices they are held together. But it doesn't mean it has to be sitting internally in the body. It can be slightly back, and I experience it when that's happening as being slightly back, but also inhabiting my body at the same time. So this is quite a big topic, and I'm only going to spend, we've got quite a lot to cover, so we're not going to go into that in great detail. I'm kind of prepping it, but at some point I think I will run a webinar where we will just investigate that, where we are sitting, the effects it has of us where we are sitting, and how to use that in consciously healing ourselves.